Is your camera on?
My camera is now on. We are live. We are hot. So tell me, first off, how does it sound? Like in your ear, you know? I know you've been on a podcast before. Does it sound kind of like this?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me on, Richard. Yeah, sorry, I smoke a little heavy. It sounds pretty good. Sounds better than the last time I did this. But yeah, man, the sound, the mics, it's pretty legit. Sounds pretty good, man.
Yeah, I wanted to make it like actually matter, and I wanted to try. I think my biggest thing is I wanted to try, and I tried with what I had. Go back and watch season 1, episode 1. That is me and Riyadh's.
Yep.
I dubbed that episode episode 1 Echoes, just because he just echoes the entire time.
It's all right, man. Hey, that's trial and error. But the important thing is that you tried.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited because I feel like just starting off with now what I have is a huge step up from like where I started. And this is just season 2, baby. Season 2 of Shit, Gigs, and Topics. Welcome back, guys. So another interview today. It's a who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it? And what do you want to do type of day. And I have Malik with me. Malik, who are you?
Well, again, first and foremost, Rich, thank you for having me on. The sound is, I think it's pretty good. The mic's excellent, so everything's coming up right. Those of you that don't know me, my name is Malik Mahmoud, born and bred in Fresno, California. You know, over the years, we met probably 10 years ago. We went to the same high school at some point until I left. I'm not saying until I got kicked out. But
You didn't get kicked out, right?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No. But I ended up going to a continuation school. For those of you that are familiar with the Central Valley, I went to Gateway Continuation School. It's not that bad as everybody made it out to be. But the first day I went, I had a pencil in my head thinking I'm going to get stabbed or something. No, man, it's regular high school. It's just where all the degenerates go.
So it was prison or what? You're like, this is county jail. I'm going to walk into county jail. Dude, this is going to suck. That's what I thought summer school was when I was a kid. I was like, this is just like prison for us, right?
Yeah,
I hate summer.
Yeah.
You shouldn't take summer school unless you failed something. And then they're just going to keep you. Like, they don't even care to teach you.
I have a whole different perspective on that. Even though I'm not one of those people that was big on school, I do 100% love school. But yeah, I do 100% believe in summer school. I feel like summer school is way better when I did take it. Only reason why is because you get to finish everything in a matter of like 6 weeks, depending on how long your school is. And that was...
I'm going to have a hard time switching between the hookah and the mic.
It's all right. That's why I gave it to you, because I'm not going to and then drink my coffee and my water, bro. It's not going to work.
I know, right? There's too many things in front of us.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were saying that you took summer school then during like high school then?
Yeah, and I did it in college, and I liked it when I went to college, even though I didn't finish. Just because like I'm the type of person that likes to do things super fast, and even when I listen to audios,
Yeah, no patience.
100% no patience. But I guess it's not even no patience. It's just more of like I learn a lot faster than most people. If you watch me listening to YouTube or anything, other than music, I'll put it at like 2.0 on the speed, just because that's my brain's always go.
That's a good idea. You know, I've been told to do that too, and I still have yet. Maybe because I'm okay with it going slow and want to savor the detail.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's actually, a good way to really gain knowledge in a more efficient way. I would say, yeah, you're an efficient person.
Yeah.
You've learned to be very efficient, and I've definitely tried to like mimic some of those things that I've seen from you.
Beautiful, man. I'm glad that I'm able to, I guess, influence you to do and be better, right? And I mean, it's not necessarily because I want you to be that way. It's just like if we can give somebody a piece of, I wouldn't even say money or anything. I would say a piece of knowledge, right? Piece of knowledge. But don't even think about money, but it's like knowledge. When you look at the most successful people, one of the things you always see them doing once they make all this massive amounts of wealth is what?
Dang, this thing's getting me too.
What do they do?
A good hookah.
They go, no, it's all right. What do? They create courses, or they start doing these trainings or mentorships. It's because I honestly believe it's not just the fact that they get bored. It's the fact that it gives them another way to interact with their audience, but also they get to give back. So it's
use that money for charity.
We'll use their money to get a new yacht, a new house, a new Ferrari, whatever it is, right? Enjoy the
charity.
Yeah, charity, right? I mean, if it's for charity, then yeah, I mean, I'm all for charities.
Yeah, if you guys ever want to donate, you can. There's a link in the description in my Instagram and below in this video.
100%, and you should definitely...
You don't have to. It's okay.
I mean, if you don't, you're just an asshole. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
He didn't say it, I said it, which is okay. But yeah, you guys definitely need to hit that link in the bio and just donate something. if you're listening, right? That way we can build.
Only if your life has changed. How about that?
You know what? Here's the deal. How about today, if we give you some piece of knowledge from this podcast, you donate at the end of the podcast.
Hell yeah! Right? Say I pledge.
Yeah, I pledge.
I pledge to knowledge.
I pledge to knowledge.
I pledge to knowledge.
There you go. I pledge to knowledge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't even know how we got here so fast. But anyways, we're gonna kind of jump around. It's how we usually talk, anyways.
Yeah, I don't even think we've ever kept on one single subject. But going back to a little bit of who you are, do you think you can actually describe yourself in such a way that someone would be like, "Oh yeah, that's Malik"? Like 9 out of 10 people would be like, "Yep, that's Malik."
I wouldn't put it in like
because I got 3 words.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you would put in 3 words. I don't have a box you could put me in, just because at times what I'm doing sometimes is so different. Even in my career, which I'm super blessed and I'm very grateful for, just where I am now and where I've started and where we knew each other. We tried so many different things. We jumped around and tried multiple different things, and I guess that's how life is. Right?
Yeah, actually, I'm kind of okay with that because that gives you some kind of experience and, always try to learn from your mistakes. And I feel like we jumped around on a lot of things, but every time you kept taking a step up that ladder.
Definitely.
Every time I've seen you always take a step up that ladder.
That doesn't really exist, right?
Stairs? I don't know
if it's a stairs, an escalator. I'd rather take the elevator than the stairs, man. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, because it's automatic.
'Cause I'm a lazy asshole now.
That was one of the words I was going to describe you as. Not lazy, but the asshole one.
No, so let's talk about it, man. Who am I? What do I do? I guess I am a entrepreneur. I started off trying to go to school. School wasn't my thing, I'll be honest, because I was going to school to be a nurse and never even got past the mediocre classes, right?
Why nursing?
This was the idea my cousin and my dad gave me, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, nah, I don't see myself doing this. But, when you're young, you don't really have a lot of people that you look up to other than like your family or somebody that you've never met. Mm-hmm. But I used to take a lot of things my dad says, and I still do till this day. One of the most knowledgeable people that I know, one of the most knowledgeable men that I've ever met. And yesterday I had just had a conversation with him and I was like, man, how does he know this stuff? Like, I learn from him, and it doesn't matter how young I am or how older I get. He's just intelligent. Like, it's crazy. Wisdom, right? With age and time. Yeah. But, entrepreneur, I do a couple different things. My major bread and butter that I've endeavored in now since 2015, 2016 is fintech. If you're not familiar with what that is, financial technologies, AI, trading, a little bit of affiliate marketing as well. But
I feel like everyone's kind of trying to jump in there because they know that there is a possibility of really breaking through that threshold 100%. Of like living paycheck to paycheck 100%. And then financial freedom.
100%. And most people are probably watching this and like, this guy dresses like a homeless guy. Well, I mean, that if you look
rich people dress like homeless people.
That's actually true. I mean, but now this generation,
real rich people that are kind of like out of the spotlight, like if you're an actor and like all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I guess. But like also if you ever catch them on a normal day, they're in like sweats, man. Yeah, exactly. They're in comfortable clothes, like whatever they care.
And I got to the point where when I was working a job, I was like, man, I love the way I dress. I love the way I come, and I love to make people's day. It's part of who I am and what I do. But one of the things that I learned along the way is when I work or when I make money, I want to be comfortable. I don't want to be uncomfortable all the time. And I do enjoy doing when we do our events around the globe. I get to wear a suit, which I get to look good.
Is your suit tailored?
Some of them are, some of them aren't. When I really need one, I just go straight to Zara, then I get it fitted. But other than that, man, yeah. I mean, even then, I don't even honestly care. I like wearing sweats. 90% of the time, we're wearing flip flops. In Arabic, we say shib. So
Oh, that's shib.
Shib, right? Shib. One of those. I wear the OG Jesus slippers. I get them straight from Jerusalem. You guys say we call it El Quds, right, in Arabic. But 90% of the time I'm either wearing sweats or shorts and a t-shirt. And then when I do have a meeting, I'll put an occasional pair of jeans and a nice button up if I have to. But if I don't, man, I honestly enjoy working and living that way. And it's what's allowed me to now become financially free for the last, when I took that leap was 2018. I was really starting 2014, but for 4 years, school, work, my business that I had on the side, and then going from, managing the hookah lounge and just doing different things with my family. It was cool, man. It's cool. But yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, I guess. So just leave it at that because there's so many things that I do. But I guess
you can officially been like, yeah, I am an entrepreneur. I was able to drop, my 9-to-5 day job and really focus on being a self-employed person.
Correct.
By these different kind of means that no one else really does. So if anything, I mean, you can be, you're flexible, whatever.
100%. Like I was just in Lebanon for a month. I worked from there, but I didn't really work as much just because the internet wasn't the greatest. But that's me just giving you an excuse. If I really want to work, I can figure it out. But I took some time off, got engaged. It was a blessing. This thing.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
The years I've known this guy, one thing he does keep under wraps is like some of the personal things like that. And no one knows until it happens.
And that's the way it should be, right? You shouldn't release.
Yeah, I guess so.
No, I mean, but really think about it because there's so many envious people out there. There's so many things that can affect you and you don't even realize it, but it's better for you not to.
Social media, one of them.
Yeah, oh man, I love social media, but I also hate it at the same time. You do need to take those.
Great platform. I think
if you have a business,
Ed Sheeran, someone said it.
Yeah, you should be using it. Definitely.
Social media is just a monster, but it's like a good platform.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you're using it to monetize and build your brand or your business, 100%. But if you're using it there to get clout and be something you're not, you'll be exposed, right? We say it, with time things expose you and who you
Liver
are.
King.
Yeah. I didn't say it.
He did the roids. He did the roids.
I mean, it's pretty obvious.
He said,
man.
I'm back on him.
I mean, come on, bro. It's pretty obvious.
That's so wild. Yeah, that's so funny.
You're not out there being like, the way they used to build their bodies. It's unheard of for you to be that way. I'm good, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's unheard of.
That guy was popping everywhere.
Hey, but he was eating liver and kidneys and.
Yeah, no one else is real. At least that I know of, no one else was posting them eating like the things that he was eating, and whether they were as beneficial as they were.
They are.
He was still eating them.
They are. I've done it a few times, but I didn't go there and film it. I mean, it's not that.
You ate balls.
I've had sheep balls before.
Really?
More than once. Yeah.
Tasty?
No, they're not. But I mean, depending on how you season them, that's the thing that does.
You got to season the balls correctly.
Exactly. You got to put your 7 spices, as they like to say, right?
Really? There's 7?
I know it doesn't have to be 7.
That's a lot of spices.
I mean, anything you ever want to eat, there's a default to it, right? And the best default is just put some hot sauce on it. Hot sauce has more than enough flavor and it's spicy, so it doesn't matter what you eat. Just put some hot sauce on it.
It's definitely like a Middle Eastern kind of thing. There's no that.
I usually put Tapatio or just any of those red American.
Maybe I'm just whitewashed.
No, you're not. Just a little bit.
A lot of it.
Just he's like,
watch, when I start learning Espanol and Arabic, it's gonna be wild.
Well, the problem was you said Espanol.
Okay, Spanish. Let me learn Mexican.
Yeah, I've heard that before. People are like, "Oh, do you speak Mexican?" I'm like, "No, I don't speak Mexican. I speak muy poquito Espanol."
You said honestly, kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of.
Yeah, exactly. No, man, but it's been a wild ride. Just being able to do what we do, and just kind of go back to it. Yeah, man, I've been very blessed to be able to travel and go around the world. And this year, even the years before, I always wanted to like travel and go live in some nice places, and I was very fortunate to do that. And I spent 3 weeks in California, then 3 weeks in Spain. And then 3 weeks
I need to get a passport.
Yeah, man, that's like, you need to become a passport bro is what you need to do. If you haven't heard of that, go look it up. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But it was cool, man. I spent 3 weeks I spent 5 months in Dubai, 3 weeks in California, 3 weeks and a half in Spain. Then I came back to California, spent some time with my brothers down in SoCal. And then 3.5 weeks, roughly a month in Lebanon. And here we are. Yeah, back in California, visiting the family. Doing what we do best, but it's cool. I love it. It's not about, like, everybody tells you it's not about the money. It's not about the money. The money is a tool. It is about the money at some point in your life, but then when you make enough money to do exactly what it is you want, you realize it's like, okay, I need the money to have all this time freedom, so I don't have to check
freedom.
Into
that's
what
it is, man. 100%. I want to be retired by 30. It's the freedom. Like, I'll never stop working. I'll always do something and find a way to keep the grind continuing and enjoying whatever life is. But like the freedom to be able to not be held down. Like, I don't have to go into work today. I don't have 100%. To. You know what I'm saying?
And I love the idea of going and doing like hard labor work or going into the office. I love doing that. Like, if I were to ever go back and actually get a job, I would go and do some type of construction or like building homes and stuff. That stuff I find like working with my hands. I love doing that.
Yeah, I'm actually glad I fell into the field that I'm doing right now with surveying, because I feel like it's definitely going to be huge for groundwork. When I definitely want to design my own home for one, because that's going to be the most legit thing. I'm being like, yeah, as a Richard Stevens first and only. But you know, I've always loved the aspect of just building, creating, and I feel like I just kind of fits right into part of what I think I'm supposed to do on this earth. So
Yeah.
I think construction is probably something that I'll continue to follow through.
It's definitely worth it, man. And it just like, I don't know. I find peace in working with my hands and doing something outdoors. Like you know, a lot of people say like when they play sports or they're professional athletes, it doesn't feel like most of them out there. I would say even 90% of them, they don't enjoy it because it's become a job. It's no longer what they was when they were a kid.
Oh yeah, it's so wild too, because you know, I mean, whether you get your contract extended or Aaron Rodgers blows his Achilles in the first game, you know,
There you go.
Homeboy still gets paid, but then, you know, also that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for this job.
Exactly. And yeah, man, it's just weird. And at that point, it's just like you got to find something that you actually enjoy, because once you start doing something that doesn't, okay, think about this. This is how I look at it. If you ever want to pick a career, what's something you would do in your current lifetime? Because over time, some people don't enjoy doing what they do. But if there's like that 3% or 1% you want to talk about, they actually enjoy doing it for the rest of their life. But what's something in your current life you could see yourself doing for the next 5 to 10 years for free? Right? If you could sit here and see yourself not getting paid doing podcasts for the next 5 to 10 years, do that, even if it's a hobby, because eventually if you build your brand correctly and you have a good marketing team or you hire a good marketing team, you're going to get paid to do it. People are going to want to listen. Right now, people are probably like, oh, we don't want to listen to this guy. He's this or that. But look at Joe Rogan.
My 10 followers do.
Right, exactly.
Love you guys.
Exactly. We appreciate you guys. And
shouts out.
100%, right? We got something special for you guys. Wait, towards the end. We're going to give something away. So if you stick with us, we're going to give something away. There's going to be a way to do it. And I'll be more than happy to partake in this as well. But on a serious note, man, it's just like, think about it. What is something that you really enjoy doing for the next 5 to 10 years? And that will not feel like work. And I mean, I'm on year seven, if my math's right? Almost year 7, going into year 7. And I love it. I absolutely love the career I'm in. I love the field I'm in. I'm very grateful and blessed that my brother introduced me to this industry, introduced me to the people that I know and taking it on. But there's also an aspect to it where you need to step back and allow yourself to be a student all over again. And that's one thing most people don't want to do. And I realized it later on, like, what was the whole point of going to school? It's to learn.
Yeah.
Right? We go to school for 12 years if you're the average individual in the world.
Honestly, I feel like school is structure.
100%.
Organization skills, structure.
100%.
And I would say just like being able to download or understand the information that's given to you. Because typically most of that information, except for like the math aspect, you know, you won't always use in your daily life. But if you're able to get the ability to research efficiently, to be able to, you know, communicate well and learn very quickly throughout whatever process it is you're going to be doing, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah. I 100% second that, man. And just, if you can communicate with people, you're fine. There's 2 skills in life that you need to learn full-heartedly. You can do, if you're better at one than the other, you'll probably be a lot more successful. But if you can master both of these, you'll be really good at them. The first one is sales. Okay, that's number 1. Most people don't like talking about it. People say, oh, the car salesman, blah, 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 the furniture salesman. They'll make more money than a teacher. They'll make more money than a person that has a college degree if that person pursues it, right? Sales.
Yeah, sales is
whatever you're doing.
I hate
sales.
it. Honestly, I hate it.
You can hate it, but you also got to love it, because when you get that paycheck, you enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
Even if you sell high-ticket sales, especially right now, or if you have automated systems that can do those ticket sales. Number 2 is marketing, right? But you can make a lot more money marketing a business than you can doing sales, because think about it. You got to go out and do something. But if you build a system that's automated and the sales are doing it for you, you can concentrate on something else. So marketing and sales, if you can master those 2 together, and then as well as understanding people and the psychology of people. And
he said there's a third.
Well, I'm just throwing that in there. That's one if you really want to.
You said bonus.
Yeah, to get that bonus, right? To just click on the bottom and get the bonus. But that bonus is just, that one's a really big one. You got to be a people person as well to understand people and how they operate. And you really got to enjoy it, right? But if you really enjoy making money, you're not going to complain about any one of those three, and you'll get past it.
Yeah. I mean, making money is the way to gain your freedom. 100%. I mean, you're kind of born in debt unless you're born into a family that kind of automatically was already there.
And I feel like that's kind of boring too. I mean, I'm grateful for my parents never handing me anything. I'm grateful for being able to give back to them.
I'm glad. I'm when I get to that point too, I'm just going to write my mom $1 million check and be like, yep, there you go. Thank you.
And even then, bro, your mom's going to be like, well, we're already.
She's like, well, I don't need it.
Yeah,
I said, it's the gift that I'm saying thank you for all the years.
Yeah, exactly.
I said, you put a lot into my success in life.
And she put up with a lot of your bullshit too. So be very grateful. But
still, and it won't, and it's not ending.
100%.
It's getting 100%. Worse.
And now, think about it like this. Now that you have a new, I don't know if you announced this or not, but you have a boy on the way.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you did or not. But
yeah, of course.
Now she's going to put up with his bullshit, which is going to be, it's good though, right? Because that's part of life, and she's going to enjoy it and she's going to love it. But that's the part where you're going to be even more grateful. And during that process of seeing your parents both being there, helping raising your son and showing you what to do, and you and, his mother, it's going to be in a beautiful process, man. Because I've been there where I've assisted in so many of my family members, helping them raise their kids.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully one day my own, right? But it's just such a beautiful process that you get to see a child. You get to teach them your ways. But the cool part is you get to decide whether or not what they're going to learn when it comes to this crap that you didn't want to learn and stuff that you didn't want your kid to learn, so you can absolutely just apply that to them. So
yeah, those core values in the beginning.
I mean, you get to work on the car and show them how to do it and how to do coding or how to build a computer.
Oh yeah, he's gonna do everything. He's gonna work for everything too. That's the best part. So he's gonna be doing the little tasks around the house or chores or this or that, and be like, all right, now you get paid.
100%. I mean, look, Rich. We've been friends now, almost 10 years. Almost coming up on 10 years, I think, something like that.
Give or take,
right? And the crazy part is if you had known us 10 years ago, one of the things we always...
Some of you have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then you've seen that journey, right? But those of you that don't know Rich and don't know who I am, I mean, we've been friends now for a little under 10 years. And the crazy part is if you see where he started, he's definitely grown and matured up till now. In many ways, right? We still hold on to those stupid little values, those stupid little jokes that we've always have been able to do.
I feel like that's one of the things that I think I've definitely been trying to reassure myself is to remain a kid, because this world is so difficult and it'll just beat you down to nothing, and it'll make you a hard ass that just doesn't want to care or it doesn't even want anything to do with anything sometimes. Yep. And I feel like life has pushed me to certain points sometimes, but I have to remember to remain being a kid and enjoy it, because you only got one life, whether you're messing it up or you're making the best of every day. But you just got to enjoy the suck, man.
Yeah.
Just keep eating that shit sandwich till you got bread.
It's people say this, it's not the destination, it's the journey. And this journey that you're on is one that, how do I say, it's definitely a long journey.
Oh yeah,
it's definitely.
It's the only way we learn.
It's those weekends when you're like, man, I want to go out, but I'm broke. It's those days where you're like, I don't even have enough money to put gas in my car. I remember those days; those were the worst, right? But that's what makes you appreciate when you do have enough gas in your car. You do have enough food on the table. You have more than enough money to go out and enjoy yourself.
You have a full tank of gas.
Exactly, dude, I remember.
You said, and I still want to stay home.
Exactly, and I still want to stay home. Exactly. It's just but as you get older, you realize you just don't want to put up with other people's garbage anymore. And there's so much craziness going on in the world. I would 100% prefer to be staying home and knowing that the safety of my home is where it is, instead of going out and worrying about whether or not I'm going to get, attacked or mugged or getting hit by some idiot driving, right?
I'm always thinking of that, but I'm like, I don't really think that's going to happen to me. But if it happens, I'm like, all right, we got to be ready.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's I wouldn't say it's very rare, but it does happen. But again, it's not even those things that you're looking at. It's just you find more comfort being at home as you get older. Me personally, the only time I really do finding myself leaving the house is when I'm like, okay, I'm going to go take 3 weeks in another country. I'm going to go to, go somewhere else and experience it. And, that's where you're like, okay, I'm not going to stay home. I'm not going to stay in when I go, for instance, I went to Spain, right? Actually flew to Portugal. Well, long story short, I just had to change my flight from Portugal to Spain, and I caught myself going to Barcelona. Spent like 4 or 5 days in Barcelona.
Jeez,
And
I'm accidentally in Barcelona, guys.
And then, well, I was in Lisbon actually first, Portugal, and then I left. Like maybe right when I landed, 3 hours later, I just got another flight and left because the plans had changed. Then Barcelona, 3-4 days, beautiful country, beautiful city, beautiful place to be. And then after that, went to, was that major one? Madrid. Madrid was pretty nice. Stayed there for most of my time, actually. The rest of the time I was there, so 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks almost. And then from there, while I was in Madrid, you just catch the train, and we went to Toledo. We went to Valencia, beautiful cities around. Yeah, man, it's like Valencia reminds me a lot like Venice and Santa Monica. A lot less homeless people there, though. A lot cleaner, a lot nicer.
There are some homeless, though?
There are some, but not like SoCal. But then the other thing that was like kind of gross, I won't lie, the water was not like it didn't feel like a sea, which it should be a sea, right? It was more like a lake. If you were, bro, it was gross. But again, it's not about, hey, I'm going there and I'm going to have my ways that I've grown up on. You're going there and you experience their culture. You're going to experience their life, the way they live. I know,
that's so wild. I've only experienced like so many different, like not enough portions of like other lifestyles and cultures that are like not westernized.
Right. And I would even tell you, like even some American cities, right, or states, so you can go there and you can experience some really cool different cultures, different countries, right?
Yeah, Floridians.
Yeah, exactly. And Texans as well. If you
want to put some coals on,
if you go, it's cool. If you've ever been to Texas too, man, Texas is a whole breed of its own. Oregon as well, very different. People there are how do I put it? It's very unique in the way that they are, right? Very, very unique in the way that they are when you go. People are a lot different depending on what cities you go to. But anyways, how did we get to Spain, Rich? I don't even remember. But yeah, Spain was beautiful. I always tell people, go and travel and experience different countries, different continents. Why? Because it's going to give you a different perspective of how the world is, right? Like, for instance, the food in Spain, I wasn't a big fan of it, right? Because Spain itself is a big drinking country, right?
Okay, interesting.
And I don't care to drink, right? I don't care for it, right?
So, like, all the food would have to go with something to drink, or what?
Pretty much, right? They call it tapas, right? So most of the food there was like, it's like finger foods here in the States. That was like, this was their main dishes. But one of the things I kept catching myself eating was like potatoes or like French fries or something like they call them, like papas, and there's like spicy potatoes. It was cool, man. I wasn't upset because you get to experience how their country is. But something that I did enjoy a lot was they have these glazed donuts that have like a tangy citrus taste to them. I brought some of them back. They're really good, really, really good. But yeah, again, perspective when you travel. It's a whole different thing. Don't take the way, and I tell this to people when you travel, don't take the way you are in your city or your country. Learn how they live. See how they live, right? You wouldn't go to, I would say, well, some people do this, so I'm going to give the example anyways. You wouldn't move from California to Texas and still vote the same, right? You would kind of, which a lot of people are doing, the perspective that you should look at is, okay, how come they're self-sufficient? How come their state's a certain way, right? Those are things you want to look at. You wouldn't go to Florida trying to vote like you're in California because you're just going to mess up the way people live there, right? And then their state's going to become the same. So don't even think about it when it comes to voting. I'm just saying in perspective, experience the way they live, right? Like, for instance, when I went to Lebanon.
Yeah, do some stupid shit while you're in Florida.
100%, right?
Do some stupid shit.
100%. I mean, I just try to be safe for the most part. But like in Lebanon, right, there's laws there, but there's really no laws.
That's wild to me too.
So like, for instance, right, you can go rent a car there.
No age restriction, huh?
No. Dude,
14, 13, 10.
Younger than that.
Jeez, younger than 10?
I went up to the mountains to visit my boy. He lives up in the mountains. He has a house up there. And he's like, let's go take a ride on the moped and go get some coffee. I said, all right. So we drive to the moped. We go to the coffee shop on the moped, pull over, we're having coffee, we're sitting down, and then I look. He's like, look. And I was like, what? I look to my right. And it's an old beat-up Mercedes, like one of those old ones your grandpa used to own. Beat up. I mean, like there's dents in it. There's rust coming out of this thing. The seats in the back. There's no seats in the back. There's 2 seats, right? There's a kid probably the age of 4 looking over the steering wheel. I don't kid you not. And there's this brother sitting right next to him, and they're ordering coffee, and they deliver it to the people in the village. And I'm like, told him in Arabic. I was like, how old are you? He's like, oh, I'm 4. And I was like, how old is this guy? He's like, oh, my brother's 6. I was like, how come he's not driving? He's taller than you. He goes, oh, he's teaching me how to drive. And I look, and I'm like, well, how are you hitting the brakes? He goes, well, I stand and I have a stick. So the stick presses on the gas and the brake. I'm like, wow, bro. And I was just baffled because my nephew's 6, and I don't even let him sit in the front seat, right, here in the States. But and here's the best part. They're not wearing, like, any helmets or any seatbelts at all. Nothing, bro. And I was just like, perspective. That's a whole different perspective change. There's a whole bunch of... Sorry,
you said, all right, have a good time. Be safe.
Yeah, that's...
You said, how do I get a hold of you if I want a coffee, though? You said, alhamdulillah, I live down the way.
Yeah.
2 lefts.
Yeah,
I'm right there.
Make sure you pass the olive tree to the right? And then it's the red house. And he's like, there's a bunch of red houses.
Leave it at the doorstep.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I mean, and then...
Said, Uber?
Yeah, but they do. But here's the interesting about that country. That country doesn't really have any navigations, right? And why I say that is because it's like a war-ridden country. There's different groups fashion groups that own it, pretty much, right? So if you go there, you got to use Google Maps. Apple Maps doesn't work if you have an Apple phone. You got to use Google Maps. But
no shit.
Kid you not. But you also cannot rely on it. So you eventually have to remember the roads. If you're going somewhere new, you got to, like, for instance, let's say I'm an hour away from you. You're like, drop your location, right? You know, most people don't be like, just send me the address, right? We say here. But over there, they say, send me your location.
I'll send a location,
right?
Normally.
Right, but most people are like, here's the address. Well, over there, they're like, send me your location. So you send them your Google location. You don't send them your Apple location because, you know, most people have Apple phones, including myself. But you send them your Google location. And what's happened to me more than once is like, okay, the Google location says take a right. There's no road. It's a cliff. Literally, I'm not even kidding you. I'm driving a few times, and it says take a right here. And I'm like, well, there's no road here. So then you got to sit there and figure out, okay, I got to turn around. There might be a road here. But, you know, it happens.
Exactly.
No,
this is the arrows this way.
And on the map, it shows there's a road, but there's no road.
So, but how do I get around? That's 2 miles. How do I get around? The cliff goes over for 2 miles. Exactly. How do I get through?
So you got to figure it out, which ends up happening is you got to go back down to the road or go up more. So eventually you find the road.
He's like, oh, there's the rickety bridge that's over this trench.
Luckily, there's no bridges. I don't trust the bridges there if there is any bridges, to be honest with you.
Oh, man.
But yeah, and then when it comes to their driving, right? I just told you about how the kids drive there, right? But then
with the stick.
Yeah. And then when it comes to their actual driving, man, there's no speed limit. There's no rules. You can, like, if you're in the States, we'll probably have 3 lanes, right?
Man, luckily, I think that beat up Mercedes can only go 20, so.
Well, some of them can go a lot faster than you think. But let's take somebody that's like a young 18, 19-year-old guy. Some of my friends there, right? You know, usually when there's lanes here in the States, people stay in their lanes. No, man, these guys go between the cars. Like, imagine there's a car and then they'll start honking and they'll start cussing these guys out. And you're like, bro, you're the one driving like an idiot. The one thing I do like is that you can do that because when there's traffic, you got to get out of that, right? I'm not going to sit there and yell at them. I'll just honk. And the thing that I like is, like, they know that the left lane is the fast lane. So let's say I want to pass this guy and it's nighttime. You can do one of 2 things. One that automatically just keeps speeding. The guy will move. Most of them do.
They don't go the same direction as...
some of them do. So, dude, I will tell you a few times, but they won't be driving like this. They'll be driving on the right side of the road. But the cars will be coming at you. Like, I'm not even kidding. And so sometimes you got to be careful. It's crazy. It's crazy. But one of my favorite things is driving in the Middle East is, like, they have, like, you can put your high beams on and you flash the guy telling him, like, that means that's a signal to, like, get the hell out of the way. And most people will listen. But then you have this occasional old man or this old lady that doesn't want to move and they just don't care. So you got to go around them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's how perspectives are in different countries.
Basically, it's a game of Frogger if you want to drive around.
100%.
Be in a car, too, 100%. Apparently.
And this was my first time renting a car there. I usually have people drive me around. But this time I was like, nah, man, I'm going to experience it. And it was cool. But the crazy part was, I'll share this story. I haven't really told it to anybody. I was there. And one night I was like, man, I'm hungry. I want to go get some shawarma. And
best shawarma ever?
It's up there. It's in the top 3 for sure. 100%. And I've been there a few times, so the guys remembered me. They didn't forget me after this incident, let me tell you. So the shawarma's on my right, and I'm looking at this at the sign, right? And all of a sudden, I hear someone honking, and I'm like, oh, it's probably someone coming towards me, telling me to move. And so I pull my car to the right. I'm about to park. And all of a sudden, I looked him around and I hear this guy yelling, and it's somebody on a moped. And I hit the guy on the moped. Luckily, listen, I wasn't speeding, luckily. Number two, luckily, he was somewhat paying attention, but like he came into my blind spot. I didn't see him. He gets hit, but not really like gets hit. He doesn't fall off his moped, like it barely goes over the edge, and he hits my mirror and breaks my mirror. And I look at him, and I'm like, I pull my window down. I'm like, hey, man, I'm sorry I didn't see you. He's cussing me out in Arabic, saying you don't know how to use a fucking signal. Like, none of this. And I'm like, looked at him, and I was like, do not speak English, because the second he knows you're American, he's going to pull I'm broken, I need money. So I start talking to him in Arabic. And I was like, hey, man, I didn't cuss him out. I didn't yell at him. I was like, hey, man, it's my fault. I'm sorry. Forgive me. He's quiet. He starts cussing at me. I get out of the car to check on him. Two guys come from the shawarma shop, and they stand in front of him. And they're like, you're good, bro. Nothing happened. Your bike's good. And he's still cussing me out. And I'm like, yeah, man, it's my fault. I'm sorry. Well, in that country, after this incident, I found out, right? He's like, all right, I forgive you. I'm out of here. And he's like, basically, fuck you and your car, and drives off. Mm-hmm. And I look at the guys, and they just start making jokes, saying like, hey, man, you should have ran his ass over. We hate those guys on the moped. He's all, none of them know how to drive. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, I hit him. He's like, nah, he's in the wrong. He's not supposed to be driving a moped. Mopeds are not allowed in this country. There's no real government here, so the people stop listening. They don't care anymore. So he was like, next time, run him over and kill him. And I was like, you guys are tripping, bro. Like, I was wrong. I hit him. And at some point,
his English started to come out too.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, I didn't even do anything. It's my fault.
No, right? And I looked at the guys, and I was like, hold up. I was like, what are you guys doing out here? Like, oh, we came out here to f*** him up with you. And I was like, like telling me this in Arabic. And I was like, wait, what? They're like, yeah, we don't like the guys on the mopeds because none of them know how to drive. They're like, if you were going to fight, we were going to help you. Plus, we know you. And I had tipped them a few times there, so they knew me, right? And then I went in there, and all the guys were making fun of me, like, oh, you're running people over, you American, and all this. And I was laughing, and I was like, yeah, man. I was like, it's my fault. He's like, next time, make sure you run him over and kill him. And I was like, man, y'all are serious here about that. But yeah, man, that was my story of hitting him, and hopefully nobody from my family watches this. So, because I didn't tell anybody about that, and yeah, man, the guy was cool. Nothing happened to him, honestly. Nothing happened to him. The moped was good, but
he said secretly we went and found him and we killed him.
No. Oh, man. He was good. And
he said, but the guys from the shawarma shop did.
They whacked
him.
They were over him, man. And then that night I went home. I fell asleep. My cousin comes home at like 4 a.m. I'm like, hey, I got to tell you something. He's like, what? I'm like, I hit somebody. He goes, did you kill him and run him over after? I was like, no. He goes, you should have. They're all idiots. I was like, this must be a common thing in your country. He goes, why didn't you call me? I would have brought the boys and we would have fucked them up. And I was like, no, bro. I was like, I hit the guy. It was an accident. You don't fight somebody when it was an accident. It was an accident. Like it's not. It wasn't on purpose. He goes, well, that's what we do in our country. I was like, y'all are tripping, man. But yeah, that's what happened, man.
All right.
It's crazy, man.
Thank your government for police, okay?
Yeah.
Sometimes they screw you. Sometimes they help you.
100%.
They keep people in their lane.
Yeah,
that's what they do.
Very true. You know, I mean, we all know how it is here in the States and westernized countries. You know, the law and the governments are a little corrupt. But believe me, it's better than not having a government or politicians in your country, because they'll just make your country a lot worse. I mean, as bad as people don't like it here, I'm very grateful for 3 things living in this country. And it's nothing political, right? It's water, electricity, and sewage. You don't understand how vital those things are in your country until they're taken away. When you go to Lebanon now, I've been there since 2018. The garbage problem, it's a garbage problem, man. Like, it's very bad. There's garbage just piled on top of the roads. Very surprising how that country is split up, but it's crazy. They don't pick it up until the end of the week. It's not like here in America where they pick it up every Friday or every day, right? Or a certain day of the week. But if you have a garbage problem, they come and clean it up, right? But over there, bro, it just piles and piles and piles. And it's terrible, but it's crazy. But yeah, be very grateful for electricity, water, and sewage. I'm very grateful for those 3 things. And then, you know, there is somewhat of a government in this country, so it's very important.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, we talked a little bit about that end of the journey.
Yeah.
And so how did this journey start? Let's go to the beginning, Malik. Malik, do you remember your first job, actually?
Do I remember my first job? All right.
Yeah, please talk about that. I'm going to grab some coals.
I do remember my first job, but this might not be the first job that you're thinking of. So I'll kind of give some input. My first job ever, I wouldn't even say this was a job, man. I was pretty much working as a slave, in my opinion. Pretty much I was like 13 or 14. Me and my cousins had gone to this lot that our family owns. It's like 60 acres long. It used to be an old, what do they call them? The motorhomes, right? You know, those mobile homes, they have them there on the lots. And what ended up happening was my uncles had a car dealership in the front, and in the back, they had a little farm, pretty much. Yeah, this is crazy, right? It doesn't happen, but only Arabs would typically do this. And the funny part is, my uncle would come and slaughter his sheep there, right? Just like for us, for the family, he would go and like slaughter a sheep. So we'd take the sheep home, and I learned how to slaughter sheep with him. And he was like, hey, look, do any of you want to help me and I'll pay you? And I was like, yeah, sure. I'll do it. And I was like, how much are you going to pay me? He's like, I'll pay you $10. And I was like, oh, cool. He's like, $10 a sheep. I was like, all right, bet, $10 a sheep.
You definitely could have slaughtered that guy in Lebanon.
That's a whole nother story for another day.
Anyways, keep going.
But anyway, yeah, $10 a sheep. I was like, all right, cool. It takes about 30 minutes, so I'm working for like $10 an hour, right? And again, go back to I like to work with my hands. So I was pretty much...
Whether they're bloody or not.
Exactly, right? I know your little inside jokes there. I'm going to keep those for another day. But
I didn't even say it.
You were definitely thinking it.
I mean, you're slaughtering a sheep.
Well, think about it, man. I'm managing a 14-year-old kid. I was working for $10 an hour pretty much, slaughtering sheep. It was a disgusting job, and I did it for about 5.5 months after starting just to help him. And then I realized, I was like, dude, I'm getting underpaid. Later on, I realized I was like, but I understood the understanding of work ethic. That was the most important thing, because I didn't care about the money. I actually enjoyed it. And I actually enjoy, again, working with my hands, working in like out in nature, doing something, right? I love working behind a computer, but I prefer being outside. But yeah, that was one of my first real jobs. I mean, I've always been an entrepreneur since I was a kid. I remember being in the 5th and 4th grade. I would go over to the 99-cent store. They had these little Sour Patch packets. They don't sell them anymore now. I haven't seen them, and they'd come in a pack of 50. I would go buy them 3 for $1, so I get 150 packets, 50 packets a bag.
Like the big old tin, the plastic tin one?
It was a plastic. They don't do them anymore. It was a plastic bag about this big, and it would come with like 50 little packets, and each packet had about like 7 or 6 little Sour Patch Kids. I would go buy them 3 packets for $1, and this is before inflation and all this shit, right? And I would sell each little packet for 25 cents. So roughly I was making about $20 to $30 a day selling these little packets as a 8-year-old, 10-year-old kid, right? 9-year-old kid.
Dang, these kids got their hands on quarters.
Right, exactly. So I was like, yeah, bring your quarters. And then that kind of opened the door for me to start going to like Smart and Final and what is that? Smart and Final and what's that other one over here? Sam's Club. Sorry, I was trying to get it out. I just didn't know what the heck it was called.
Oh, we went bigger.
Exactly. And I would buy those boxes of candy bars and sell them. You buy them for like $10, and there's like 30 of them, so you make like $20 a box, whatever it was. Anyways, that was like where I really started my entrepreneur journey, and then selling different things as a kid, and then going into high school selling those. Then I was like, nah, I want to get a job. And I didn't realize being an entrepreneur was a lot better than having a job until after this little incident doing that with my uncle. And then once I took those 5 months working with my uncle, I was homeschooling, right? I was supposed to go to school. I didn't go for a whole semester of high school. And my parents thought I was going to school and I didn't. So they were like, hey, they find out at the end of the semester, first, I think it was my sophomore year. They're like, you failed all your classes. I was like, yeah, I was working. And they're like, where's the money? I was like, I spent it. So I wasn't really working and saving. I was more spending it. So they were kind of pissed off about that. So I stopped working with my uncle, and then I went back to school. And what ends up happening is I get a job in the cafeteria, right? So
at school
in the cafeteria, right?
Oh, snap.
So I was making like $8 a day because I would have to work for an hour, right? So you get paid minimum wage. So I was like, oh, it's cool. I don't even want to hang out with my friends during lunch anyways. I'd have like a 5-minute or 10-minute to eat real quick after.
And free lunch.
And free lunch, right? But here was the thing I looked at. It was like in high school, I was pretty much cool with all, like, I've always known this since I was younger. I can blend in with whatever crowd and be cool with most people. So that was cool, right? I'd be giving some of my friends free lunch here and there. But yeah, man, that was like where kind of
breaking the rules at an early age. Got it.
Exactly, right? Breaking the rules at a very early age. But yeah, going back to my first job, right? It was one thing that gave me understood what work ethic was. Along the ways, I had so many different jobs, so many different things. And then went to college once I graduated from high school, which I barely graduated from high school. basically
#gateway.
#gateway, right? I pretty much at that time they were introducing this new online schooling. They just started doing it in that year. So you would have to have the teacher open up your tests, right? You text the teacher or call the teacher, hey, I need you to open my test. So what I would do is I would be paying my friends the last like semester, literally, because I was so behind. I was behind like I think 60 or 70 credits, and I was a senior in high school. They're like, you're not going to graduate. I was like, yeah, I will. So I paid one of my friends. They literally just did the whole classes. I text teacher. I graduated in October of 2012. And from there, I was just like, okay, I had worked throughout high school. I did different things, making money. And then pretty much 18, 19, I didn't work because I had money saved up. I understood saving money. And then I ran out all of my money, and I was like, what do I got to do? So I went to school. Exactly, right? I went to school. Went to college, and then I was like, oh, fast, cool. Then I, at some point, started working at a dealership, doing multiple different things. And again, remember now, when you look at it from where I am now, I hated those jobs. Like, absolutely hated it. Working for like a $250 check every 2 weeks. I was like, this is the worst, right? But then you come and look at it, it's like, that's what builds your work ethic to understand where you are now. And now, like, when I make $250 in a day, I'm just like, I need to make more money. This is
you're like
right.
$250 a day isn't enough. You said
Especially
2,500 a day
2,500
is what we're looking for, my guy.
Even then, man, like that. Even then, like a day like that is not bad, but it's like you can make a lot more money. It's not bad, but again, you can make a lot more money and you'd enjoy it. But when you start making more money, you don't look at money as as I'm going to go buy a bunch of shit. You figure out how am I going
because there's and I saw this in a video, there's pre-luxury and post-luxury.
Correct.
Pre-luxury keeps people poor, and then post-luxury or after 100%, people 100%. Have the money to just, It's like there's a great saying that if we take all the money and we distribute it equally amongst everyone in the world, it would be right back in a few short years, the people that understand wealth in their hands. And you'd probably get a couple new millionaires and billionaires because they understand wealth along the way. But those same poor people would go back to being poor, 100%. And the reason that is because people just don't understand how money works. So it's crazy. It's crazy, man. It is wild.
It's crazy.
And all of this kind of just keeps building on top of each other, on top of things, on top of, like, the more the years go by, the generations, companies, just different things, money just kind of, it just keeps building on top of itself. And also inflation.
Yeah. Inflation has been a pain in the ass for everybody, but it's part of the Great Reset. And if you don't believe in it, just go study history and you understand there's always a reset when it comes to wealth and distribution of freedom, right? In most countries and around the world, around the globe, I should say, not just even countries. I would say around the globe. So it's going to be, we're living in a very interesting time. You have about 7 years left to make some real money. So you can set your kids up or even your grandkids up. 7 years left, and this is from now till 2030. And why I say that is because there's never been easier. It's never been easier for you to make money.
You think 2030 it's going to get harder?
Well, yeah, because things are going to change in the next 5 to 10 years. Just think about it. How are people making so much money right now? Online, right?
Yeah.
If you think about it, 10 years ago, you were just graduating high school. Around that, getting out of high school or getting into high school, right? You're just around that time. And here's the crazy thing about that. Social media was barely scraping, coming by, right? Because when you really think about social media...
And YouTube was kind of just the thing.
YouTube was very new. Saying how it's going to replace everything. People thought they were crazy, right? But when you really think about it, this was like the peak year for Instagram. This is where Instagram had just gotten introduced, and Vine was like 10 years ago, right? Vine had just come out ahead of their time. They would have killed it. They were the modern day TikTok 10 years ago, right? But they only lasted for like 6 months and then disappeared. That's what it really was.
I think they got bought out.
They did, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it disappeared, right? It didn't stick around. And then when you look at it 5 years down the line, that is where Instagram just kept growing and growing, and people started building their brands. People started marketing their things for free. And like, think about it. 10 years ago, I would say even 40 years ago, if you wanted to advertise your business, you'd have to go pay thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, either be on a billboard, TV, put your name in the phone book, hoping that somebody looks at it.
Newspaper.
And you remember those little yellow pages? You can get them in front of Save Mart now. Mm-hmm. Back in the day. They don't have them anymore now.
Yeah, they don't. Huh?
Not anymore, right?
Not even the backlist on Craigslist, too. Back pages.
Back page, yeah, right.
Back page.
Right? That was another interesting one. But just think about it, man. Like, things have changed. It's never been easier to make money. You have people as young as 11 and 10 years old making more money than you and I from uploading stuff. There's this new thing that I've known about for the last 7 years, and now people are making it more mainstream. This year is coming out. It's called YouTube automation. It's basically faceless YouTube pages, and you just take videos and different stuff people have used over the years, and you put them on your page, and people are making stupid amounts of money. Why I say that is imagine you making anywhere from an extra, I'm not even going to say how much people are making, but just think about it, making an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a month. A month,
a month is so much.
Extra $1,000 to $2,000.
Remember, we were saying 250. I want to make more. 2,500 is nice a day.
Yeah, exactly. But
imagine not doing anything,
and you just have your money automated. It's insane. And I know some of your viewers are like, this guy sounds like a crazy person, and he's here sitting talking about all these things, but it's like, you really want...
Fact check it, yo.
Yeah, just look it up. Look it up. And again, see, I said this at the beginning of this podcast. We've said this one was going to be mainly about knowledge, and we've dropped so many nuggets. And I'm going to give you another one right now. If you want to have a whole perspective change for any of your viewers, and if you don't know who this guy is, I would tell you, start looking at who he is and what he's done for people. Look up a person called Tony Robbins, and look at what he does. And there's a book called Money Master the Game. And there's another one I'm going to give you. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's a pretty old, it's like 20 years old, but it's a very good book, still very good for now for people I would tell to read it. And then look up the gentleman that wrote it. His name is Robert Kiyosaki. Those two people. And those were probably the two that really changed my perspective about life and the decisions I want to make when I read them.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is I had wished I had found those books when I was in high school, because I'm a very big entrepreneurial mindset, working for myself, not really having a boss. And it's not bad to have a boss. It's not bad to have a job, but it's not for everybody. Now, here's the crazy part is I remember sitting in economic class in high school and I'm very big on crypto. You've known this for years, very big on crypto. I remember in 2011 when they first talked about Bitcoin and it was at less than a penny, right? And they're like, what do you think this is going to be? And I remember sitting in economics class. I was like, I think this is the future, 100%. And I said that, and I remember writing in my notes, and my teacher was like, why do you think that? And I was like, well, we were watching a documentary about the understanding of how money came. Well, what most people don't know is, how was credit invented? Well, it first started as club cards, right? Little things, right? If you want to go to the grocery store, you want to go to, let's say at that time, Blockbuster or whatever it was, you had a club card. And you'd come in, you take whatever you wanted, but they'd write down, this is what you took, this is how much you basically owe when you get paid. So you come in and you pay it, and then you're part of the club. That's what it pretty much was. But over time, they built all these systems and all this data where they invented credit cards. You no longer have to write your name down. So they got rid of the club cards, then they had credit cards, and then they had debit cards and all this different stuff. And money started becoming more and more less tangible, meaning you can't hold it. It's all in a credit card, and you're just spending it. You're not really seeing it. And then when you look at
digits,
correct.
Yeah,
and then when you look at how crypto works, it's even more decentralized than ever, right? It's decentralized. Like you won't see it. You can see how much you have if you own the wallet, but no one knows who owns it per se, right? And then you can spend it. So those are the things that, again, man, it's just crazy how easy it is to make money, because that was the whole thing that we started on. But it's crazy how easy it is to actually make money in this day and age. And most people are out here not even realizing it. Like, when the whole, I don't want to use any certain words to get you blocked, but when we had the whole thing that happened in 2020 and people were just staying home, right? Because there's this thing going around. That was probably the biggest wealth transfer that I had ever seen happen so quick in such a short amount of time. And you think about it, we're almost 4 months away from it being 4 years ago, right? That's how crazy it is. Time is going by so fast, right?
But it actually picked back up in such a quick manner that things actually are starting to try to get even quicker.
Yeah, exactly, right? And things are starting to go back in that way. But the crazy part is I know so many people that were getting unemployment, and they were helping homeless people get unemployment because the government was giving so much free money away. It was just crazy. And at the same time, you had these PPP loans and all these different things. They're cracking down on them now, but it was just crazy to see how easy it was for them to give money away, and people were taking it. Now, some people are getting caught for, running those scams, but again, if you have that mindset of, hey, I want to make money, a legitimate way, there is a way to do it. There's definitely a way to do it. You don't have to be like those people that like to do the scamming stuff. But yeah, there's always a legitimate way to make money. There's always a legitimate way. And it always starts with what? Your perspective. You got to work on yourself first. People come to me all the time and say, hey, Malik, I have $500. I have $1,000. I have $2,000. And I know that their mindset is crap. They're overweight. They don't have the physique that they want, right? I tell them, listen, first thing that you're going to want to do is go invest in yourself. Well, what the hell does that mean? Like, don't put nothing in the stock market because you're not going to make a lot of money. Don't put anything to crypto trying to get the next 100x coin because that's just gambling, right? Go invest in yourself. Go take a course. Go find somebody that has a lifestyle that you want and go learn from them. Invest in yourself. Pay them money to teach you what they know. And you
Mentor.
Right, exactly. And most people say that this is a waste of time. It's a scam. Well, what are you doing going to school? What's the difference between paying somebody who has exactly what you want to going to school and paying for a medical degree or paying for a history degree or an arts degree? Where if you really want to learn about art, why don't you just go to the country go to the city that it was created in, what is it, Italy? Italy,
Let's
right?
go with it. Fact check it, actually.
Right. Just go to Italy. I think it was where Da Vinci was. It was Italy, right? Yeah. Go learn from there. Go learn from the Mozarts. Go learn from there. You want to learn history? Go visit the country. Don't go get a history degree because there's no better way to learn about it than going to visit the country itself.
Experience, yeah. Actually, exactly. There's a thing where Riyadh's mom, actually, she beat out someone who was like brand new, fresh out of college, like had a degree in exactly this, but she has so many years of experience. It's just like, yeah, that's unfathomable. They're like, yeah, sorry.
100%. I'll give you an interesting conversation, or I'll give you an interesting story that happened to me once. I had just hit my 4-year mark on being self-taught and studying finance and understanding how the bank systems work. And there's a guy that actually worked for Merrill Lynch. I think it's Bank of America, right? Merrill Lynch is Bank of America. He was one of their head traders. I met him here locally. And he had gone around saying what I'm doing is a scam and I'm stealing people's money and my thing is not going to last and all this stuff. And then I ran into him and I didn't say nothing. I didn't care because I don't feed into that energy with people. And we sat down and had a conversation because one of our friends was like kind of instigating. And I said, hey, man, I'll sit down and talk to you. We'll have an intellectual conversation. It's fine. And at the end of the conversation, we were having it inside of a hookah lounge. And my cousin pulls me to the side and says, hey, man, and this is towards the end of the conversation. He goes, I'm not going to lie to you. I thought this guy was going to rip you a new asshole and embarrass you in front of everybody. He goes, but you did the exact opposite. And my intentions were not to embarrass him, but it was the fact that it was one of those days when you have a light bulb go off and you realize like, hey, dropping out of school was a great choice. Quitting my job was a great choice. Following my dreams and doing what I wanted to do was a great choice because I actually spent some time educating myself and learning what I enjoy. And when I sat down and had a conversation with somebody that went to a very prestige school, are you familiar? He went to law school he studied finance, right? Something for law and finance. I don't know exactly what it is, but it was the school in Washington. I think it's is it Mick Brown or Mick George? Sorry, Mick George University or George. I think it's Mick George University, something like that. It's one of the top law schools in Washington. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. I don't remember the name of the university, but yeah. Anyways,
fact check it for us,
please. Yeah, check it out, please. But he went to school for like 8 years, and I just sat down and put my head down for 4 years, and I had just studied, and I was like, dang, I actually know my shit. That was one of those days where I was like, keep going. Because after that, I had intrigued a couple of my friends to learn, and they were just very intrigued. And, now, here's my thing. It's not about the money per se. When you start, it's always about the money, right? Because you want to get away, you want to buy all those things. And honestly, like when I started making really good money, I didn't go out and buy a bunch of shit. I really didn't. I actually started spending it on going to events, investing in mentors. And then when I did have like really good money, I would just literally spend it on going and traveling, man. And I wouldn't even spend money like that on vacations. I would actually invest it when I had money. Like at that time when, let's say I made an extra 15, 20K that month, I wouldn't go out and spend it on stupid shit. I would literally be like, okay, I'm going to put 80% of it back in the market. I'm going to put 80% of it into this project or something, right? And then if whatever I had left over, I'm like, okay, I got an extra like $2-3 grand. Let's go to Mexico. Let's go to another city, spend it there for the next month and enjoy myself. Which during COVID, that was like the best thing ever, bro, because everything was like shut down. And bro, it I loved it. I loved it because I was able to travel up and down the West Coast, and everything was pretty much like 20% of the population was out. So it was very easy to go to national parks. It was very easy to go visit my friends. A 5-hour drive that you'd expect to go from here to San Diego was only like literally 4 hours because there was no traffic. And I was like, dang, it's crazy, right? And then we would drive from Vegas and Portland, but it was cool. It was cool. Yeah. But again, it's not about the money. When you do start, it's always about the money. But now once you do it,
it's about living your life. It's about being able to actually live your life.
100%.
Because you're not born to just work and die. Like, you work freaking 70 years and then finally Social Security checks in. I have my retirement from my 401k. Right. Maybe I had a job that had a pension, and then I'm coming out and I'm like, all right, well, I got enough to survive till I die, and then my kids are on working their jobs. So, yeah, no. It's about living your so life.
Depressing, man.
That is you're a cog in the machine. That's what it is.
It's the reality of it. It's 100% the reality of it.
I mean, honestly, you need to be a cog in the machine just to understand what it's like to live your life afterwards, because otherwise you wouldn't really have any perspective, and life is about perspective.
100%. And here's the life cycle that most people understand, right? It's like, go to college, right? Go to school. You eventually, this day and age, it's crazy, man. You get married, you have some kids, right? You buy a house.
Have a kid first sometimes.
Or I'm just saying, this day and age is different, right? Everybody's either, I don't want to get married, or they're having kids and they don't get married, and then they're raising this kid. It's just weird, but my whole perspective is, I'll give it to you. This is how I've seen it.
It's not traditional.
Right. It's not traditional anymore. It's different. But you get, like, you're from like 20 to 25, 20 to 30 now. You're basically not even financially stable because how shitty the economy is, right? But just think about it like
you
this.
need multiple jobs to be able to
survive. Multiple
survive.
Streams of income, right? It doesn't necessarily multiple jobs.
Flows.
You can have a job and have 5 different streams of income, even if each one brings you an extra $500 a month. That's good. 1,000, cool. But the point is, have multiple streams of income, right? In any way possible. If you can start a business, something.
Feet finder.
I do not condone that. I personally don't. I mean, but here are my feet. They're not going to sell any, and you're not going to make any money on it anyways. But point being,
put your feet away, dude.
I don't think they can see them anyway. So
good.
Good.
Thank God.
Here, I'll put them right here behind the hookah. But yeah, bro. So think about it like this: 20 to 30, get married, have a house. You're gonna pay your debts off. You're in like $250,000, $300,000, depending on how much your house is, depending on where you live, right? And then by I don't know, from 30,
but if you look,
30 to 65, that's all. You're not really living. You're just working.
If you look at your house your house would technically be debt unless you were to take out a reverse mortgage and actually take equity out.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but remember what I said, the average person.
You're right.
We're talking about the average person, but that's what, we were even having this conversation in the car earlier. But it's like, think about it like this. Most people don't even know that, which is so small and spectacular of a knowledge that you could take equity.
They're like, my house is completely paid off. I was like, you could take out take
an equity loan out, or even go to the bank
and then probably triple your amount if you understand how to use the money that your house you accumulated so much wealth without even realizing it.
Yep.
Like, you can go and take that and reinvest that and watch your life actually just, even if you were to you have a $400,000 house, right? So you just take that out, put it in one stock. That gives you 1%.
And here's the thing:
1%.
You don't even have to. That's true, but you don't even have to take out the whole $400,000 on the house.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the other thing people forget. Here's a little piece of knowledge when it comes to owning a piece of property. If you own a house right now and you're paying, what is it? They say yearly tax. What is it called again? I can't remember the name of it. On the home,
the property tax.
Property tax.
Yeah.
If you want to get rid of property tax, this is one way that I recently came upon this piece of knowledge, which was really cool. Is if you bury a loved one in your backyard,
Lord,
just listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. If you bury a loved one when they pass in the backyard, your home now no longer comes to the terms where they have to pay property tax on it.
You're not going to sell it either.
You can sell it.
You're like, hey, Airbnb, my haunted house.
But here's
Airbnb,
I
my
wouldn't even
haunted
say
house.
haunted, bro. I wouldn't even say haunted, but it's the backyard, right? But here's the thing about that. There is rules and regulations and laws that they can't take it from you like normal houses, because it now becomes, I can't remember.
A burial site?
Pretty
It's
much.
a burial site.
Pretty much. But
they're like,
hey,
do you want to buy the cemetery? Oh my God.
But you don't have to pay property taxes on it.
Said I have
Imagine
6 kids.
that. Exactly. You don't have to pay property taxes on it, though. That's the thing.
They're going to move in with grandma back there.
But your kids forever own the house. Your family forever owns the house. And even if you take equity out on it, you don't have to pay property taxes on it.
All right, I will do that to my home. That'll be in my family forever.
Well,
think all right, guys, everyone's getting buried in the backyard.
Imagine if you have...
But it's got to be a mansion.
No.
You'll never see us.
Not even a mansion. Imagine if you have like 4 to 5 acres, right? You're fine. Even if you have an acre.
Yeah, no, for sure. I would definitely have a giant, plot of land, and definitely, you'd have the house, the barn.
On top of your cemetery.
Oh, yeah, right? Yeah, it would. The death would mask the smell of the pot. Yeah. That's a good idea. Honestly, you can't even make money in weed anymore.
No, don't even. Yeah, that's actually true because so many things are just...
It's just legalized crazy. And you just get it everywhere. It's better to just get...
How did we get on this topic?
Burying your family members?
I don't even know.
Honestly, that's not a bad idea. If you had a multi-million-dollar home and you had a lot of acreage, and honestly, I would be okay with it. Just like bury the family in the backyard in a crypt.
Ain't no more property tax.
Like a mile away from the home, and yeah, no property tax because now you live in a cemetery.
Yep. It's crazy, man. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot this real quick.
The dogs too. The dogs, the cats, everyone. Hey,
Rich, what are we doing over here?
We're on Shit Gigs and Topics.
There we go.
Gotta love that shout out. Well, Malik, we could maybe answer. We can maybe answer the question of what would you want to do? Are you doing what you want to do?
So, wait, did we answer all of your questions so far?
Yeah. Who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it?
Why do I do it?
And what do you want to do?
I don't even think we really told them who I am and how we met and all that, but that's all right.
There's some disgusting knowledge in there, but it's okay.
I wouldn't say disgusting. I would say this is a unique friendship we've had over a unique brotherhood, so it's been cool. So you said, who am I? What do I do? And what was the last one?
What do you want to do?
What do I want to do? That's actually a really good question. I'm in the midst of actually doing it right now, if I said that right. One of the dreams that I've always had since I was a kid was to have my own plot of land with my family and live off of the land and basically
self-sufficient.
That was one of the things I've always dreamed of since I was a kid. We grew up on a farm here.
My goal is an island. Is that shooting too far?
No, an island, bro. An island too. You can own an island. That's perfect. Actually, too. Just add it into an island, right? Or you live on an island. Too.
Does that mean if I bury my family on the island, then it's
you own the island, so nobody's gonna own property tax, bro. It's your island. Get out of here, right? Because nobody's gonna own it. You're gonna own it. It's your island.
True.
But you become a lord of the land, right? Pretty much.
I'm gonna have self-defense.
Yeah, exactly, right? You're gonna hire all your own, I guess, security guards and stuff. But yeah, so that was one of the dreams I've always wanted to do, and what I'm doing. But one of the really big ones that I really want to do, and I'm in the midst of doing it, is opening a nonprofit, which we've been successfully able to open it. But now we're going to start the process of doing the actual nonprofit. And the whole nonprofit is we help build different schools, different mosques. We've already done a couple right now in multiple different countries. And we've done wells, we've done homes, we've done food,
I love this.
food and different things. And I don't talk about this and I don't post about it because that's not my thing. I'm not trying to get clout for it. But, we're bringing, and I hate even telling people that I do it and that I own it, is because it's 100% nonprofit. I don't make any money. Mm-hmm. Like recently we just did one in Afghanistan, and obviously you see what happened in Afghanistan for the last 20 years, but we were able to successfully put in a couple of different, we did a school, we did a whole area separate for the boys and the girls. So they're learning there and they love it. And it's really cool, man. But we put some wells in there. We put trees. So we did a lot of different things. It was really cool. We did a lot of different things and we helped out a lot.
They have running water.
Yeah, they have running water. They have wells. And I'll show you some of the pictures and videos once we're done. But it's really cool. Like if you really want to do something like that, I'll give you guys a link for that on how to, and I'll give you more information about that if you're interested in giving back. And you can pick the actual country you want to send your funds to, and you can pick what you want to send it to. Mm-hmm. So for instance, like I'm Muslim, right? And I'm very big on it. I don't want to turn this into a religious podcast, but I'm Muslim. And one of our things is that we strongly believe in is helping others, right? And we do. And one of the things that we can have after we die to continue to get good deeds in the eyes of God is one of three things, right? One of them is continuous knowledge. Knowledge could be, education, anything. coming from, continuous knowledge. The other one is a righteous child praying for you. And then the last one, which I am a big fan of, right? I'm on any one of the three, but the last one is called Sadaqah Jariyah, which is like a continuous charity, right? When most people always want to help, that could be you putting a well, that could be you doing planting trees, and then the birds and the animals eat out of it, or people, receive from it. So those are the things. And I'm
doing a workshop, maybe
even a workshop, right? Whatever it is, but something that will benefit others after you pass. And that's what I'm really big on for me personally. And being able to see that come to life, because, you're asking, like, what do you want to do? I'm literally doing it. I'm in the midst of doing it, and I've already been able to do it. But having my own foundation was the whole point. I've been able to do it with multiple different foundations, and we've been able to help anywhere from Ethiopia to Palestine to Lebanon, Yemen, Somalia, countries that really need it. And then there's other countries like in Somalia. We've been doing it for quite some time now, I think for the last 10 years. We, during our holidays and during our festivities, what we do is we donate some money, and then we buy 2 cows, which the cow will last them for I think 6 months, which is crazy, right? Each cow will last 6 months, so it's for a year.
That's nice.
So, and that feeds, I think, 2 or 3 families. Think about that for a second, man. How much meat do we consume in this country?
Shit.
Right? How much meat do you, and you take that for granted. So I am a big fan. I'm a big advocate of, not fan, excuse me. I'm technically a fan, but a big advocate of, helping others and being able to give back. And that was one of the things, when I started to actually do it. And that was whether you want to believe it or not, that was why I wanted to have time freedom, because it wasn't just being able to give the money and do it, but actually being there and doing it. Since I was a young age, and I didn't even talk about this, I was big of helping others, which I would do everything from the UCP to, what is that other, not Relay for Life. What are those ones they have for the Red Cross, where they do the events when people run and
5Ks?
Yeah, but no, I didn't do the runs. I would go and volunteer. I did Boys and Girls Club for 4.5 years, right? I would go and volunteer and help with those for years, and we had made a huge difference. We did community gardens. We'd have community events. We had, at one point when I was 16 or 17, me and my very good friend till now, we were able to get somebody to donate $10K to the local Boys and Girls Club and help out. So it was cool, man. Just seeing certain things that needed, to get done and assisted with in our areas. But yeah, I'm doing it, man. I'm doing it, and it's only the beginning, which is really cool because we get to see where we'll be in 10 years from now.
Right. You know what? I've seen a lot of things throughout the years, and I feel like trying is one of the biggest things that, we forget to keep doing, and keep trying. Even if you fail, keep trying. And eventually your dreams will come true. As long as they're physically possible, you can't be like, oh, I'm going to fly like a bird. I'm like, all right, well, I've seen Scooby-Doo. He tried and he went to jail,
right?
But he did break out of jail.
Right. It's funny that you said that, try, because I did this, I call it transformational process. And it wasn't just for business. It was more of myself, right? People call them self-help workshops. I'll give them that just to listen. And they can understand it better, right? But it was more on to fix whatever was going on with me on my insides so I can give back, right? And I look at 4 key places as a person in areas of my life, right?
All right, this is what we're giving away.
This is where you're going to give it away, right? It's your body, your being, your business, and your balance, right? Your body, you got to do 2 things for yourself every day, right? Shout out to Garrett White. He's one of the guys that I learned this from. Shout out to Julian Doan. He's another one that I was really big on, and he mentored me in a lot of aspects of this the last 3.5 years. So it was really cool just being able to learn from them and going through their processes. But again, body, being, balance, and business. Body, you do 2 things for yourself every day. That could be as doing a 10-minute exercise, getting some sweat in. I would drink a green juice. You saw me do that for quite some time. And then your being is your relationship with yourself, your family, your loved ones, your girlfriend, your wife, your business partners. Your balance is, your being and your balance can be either that, and then your being can also be more of your relationship with God, your relationship with whatever you believe in, on your choice, and then your balance again can go back to your family, your loved ones, however, what comes in there, yourself, right? It's really big. And then lastly is your business. Remember, do 2 things every day. So for my being, I would read a podcast. I was getting better. I was doing reading every day and journaling. Then my being, I would pray, try to stay up with my 5 prayers a day. And then I would do something for my family. I would call my friends like, hey man, I appreciate you. I just call you this one day, send you a really nice text message, which you'll probably receive tomorrow because of this podcast. And then your business, I would do two things. So it would mean like I'd follow up on emails. I would follow up on anything that I needed to get done for the day that I know needed to be done, or just something, right? Just something done for my business. But yeah, or that could mean just taking some trades that morning. It doesn't matter what it was, but something for those. So those are the 4 key areas of your life. If one of them is bleeding, it's going to bleed on the rest of them. If they're aligned for the most part, you're going to do just fine, but they'll never, they'll never be 100% synchronized and in tune all together because no one's perfect, right? And if you ever see somebody that says they're perfect, they're lying. No one's perfect. Everyone has imperfections, but it's important to work on those imperfections in a certain way where you're not hurting yourself.
Yeah.
Right? You don't need to damage yourself in that sense. So, yeah, those are the 4.
Hey, your parents already did that.
Or your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend. It doesn't matter who it is, right?
Someone damaged you. You just got to repair the damage.
Could
it's hard.
Could also be your boss. That asshole boss you might have had along the way. No.
Oh, yeah, I know,
Right.
Life will kick you in the nuts.
100%. 100%.
But that's actually a good piece of advice, and I think that's huge too, because as I started to work out and doing my physical experience, mentally I started to get a lot stronger, and part of it was you didn't realize this, but even though throwing around this heavy weight and sticking to a diet and being determined, you want that to bleed into all the other aspects. So you start somewhere as simple, in a good way. Yeah. You start as simple as just picking up a weight or walking outside and doing something physically active. It's better for your body, your heart, and your mind.
100%.
And you will see how things kind of just change.
There's something really cool that I learned from one of my very good friends. His name is Trung Tran. And
what a name.
Trung Tran, right? He's a Vietnamese guy. I don't see him as a friend. I see him as a brother. He would always see me grinding in the office when we did have an office here locally. And he'd be call me, hey, let's go for a hike. I'm I don't have time. He goes, listen, bro, the work's going to be there when you come back. Let's go outside, get some air, get some sun. Even if it's cold, let's go out and do something to change the way your mind is, right? And I'm okay, cool. And he's and then we go do that. And he's it's very important that you take care of yourself. Because if you think the work is going to be there, imagine if you die and you're miserable, you're not happy, but the work's always going to be there.
Yeah.
Right? And then he was never, because we were talking about this earlier. He said, never try to be too serious all the time. There's a time and place for it, but always let the inner child come to life. Especially he said, at least once a week, try something new. That could be you going to try play paddleball, pickleball, basketball, yoga class, going to a seminar, whatever it is. Try something new physically and mentally for yourself every week, even if it's 1 hour. The reason being is because it will give you a perspective change and your body and your mind will change and thank you later. Believe me about that. And when I started doing those things, my life started elevating. I started traveling a lot more, started meeting a lot of cool people. I mean, most of the people in my business, sometimes I don't even meet them for a year or two until I go and fly to their city or they fly to mine, or the country, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things that I can tell you this is just take the chance. Just take that leap of faith, try something new, but take care of yourself.
Yeah, don't get stuck in your ways.
No, 100%. Getting stuck in your ways is one of the most hardest things to get out of.
I know.
Yeah. And if you need help, reach out to Richard. Richard's actually pretty good at playing Dr. Phil.
Sometimes, that's why we have this podcast, baby.
Exactly.
Well, Malik, I want to thank you for joining me here today. I didn't think we would actually be able to come together for a really long time. I know you're a very busy man, and sometimes you do have gaps in your schedule, and I'm so glad that you were able to fill me in one of those gaps.
Pleasure's all mine, brother, and as we say in Arabic, sharafna, so sharafna means pleasure, pleasure to meet you, but pleasure's all mine, man. It really is, and thank you for having me. It's always an honor and a pleasure to sit down and just chat with you, but even being able to show this to your viewers, man, it's a great pleasure.
Good, I'm glad. And we do like to have some stimulating conversations. I'm not all stupid, okay, I swear. Yeah. But I do like to learn from people that are older than me, have that experience like Malik here. And
Thank you.
We'll probably definitely have this guy on in later seasons or for other topics and videos coming your way.
Absolutely.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
A big one too. Save it. Right. Hit save because that will boost your algorithm.
Rewatch that. Yeah. Oh, save it, please. Rewatch it. Understand. some of the words and the advice that, Malik here would want to give you, because this guy's he's gotten me through some pretty interesting and tough times. And, I could always go for this guy for some good advice.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I almost forgot. I said we'd give something away, and I said I'd join in on that. The first one is, you want to give a T-shirt away or something? Let's do that.
Should we do a Shit Gigs and Topics T-shirt or one of yours?
No, Shit Gigs and Topics T-shirt.
Oh, we're gonna give away a Shit Gigs and Topics T-shirt to one of our 10 subscribers.
How do you want to do this? How do you want to do how do you want to give it away?
Well, don't forget to like, comment, and we'll pick one at random.
Here's a good one. Here's how you do it. This is what you can do, because you're gonna post this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So whoever. You have to follow ShitGigs and
Shit Gigs and Topics
Shit
on
Gigs
Instagram.
And Topics, sorry. You have to follow Richard. You have to follow myself as well, right?
And link in the description below.
Link will be in the description below. And then you need to share it, and you need to tag all three.
All right.
Right? And then obviously if they like, share, and do all that good stuff. And then to even go a step further, you need to tag two people or three. What do you think?
Two
people in the comments. And yeah. And then you give away a T-shirt. If any of you are looking to, I don't know, if you want to learn how to trade, you want to understand how to trade, I will give.
If you want to invest your time correctly.
Thank you. I appreciate it. No. If you want to learn how to trade at all, I'll give a month away for free for 30 days of my services that we offer. We'll give it away for free for 30 days again. Just whoever wins, right? So if you get the T-shirt and that, and then I'll send you a little, what is it called? A welcoming package. Just need your address, obviously, all that good stuff, which you can figure that out later. But again, if you want to learn about trading or you want to learn about finance, and we have a full-blown course, we have fintech, we have all these really cool things. Reach out to Richard on all this. If you obviously don't win and you still want to learn, reach out to myself. I'll be more than happy to.
And if you still want a T-shirt and you don't win, let me know.
Yeah, please. I'm going to get a hat, obviously. I don't want a T-shirt. I like hats. But yeah, thank you again, brother. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I had a great time. And guys, thank you for tuning in. Yeah. I hope you guys have a fantastic day.
Hope you guys enjoyed our little trip.